She was known for her fiery red hair, razor-sharp wit, and a refusal to bow to anyone's demands. Maureen O'Hara didn't just conquer Hollywood, she did it on her own terms, exposing the darker side of the industry long before celebrity scandals filled modern tabloids. While some saw her as a fearless pioneer who tore down Hollywood's murky walls, others tried desperately to silence her. To this day, her story raises an unsettling question. Just how far would powerful people go to keep one actress under control? It's easy to look at Maureen O'Hara's illustrious career and assume she lived a charmed life. But it turns out her rise to stardom was marked by scandal, rumor, and a willingness to fight back at all costs. From punch and predatory directors square in the jaw to winning a groundbreaking lawsuit against a ruthless tabloid empire, she faced a torrent of abuse that might have broken anyone else. Yet Maureen refused to yield. Let's dive into the remarkable life of a legend who not only made it in the golden age of Hollywood, but openly challenged its corrupt underbelly, shocking the entire industry along the way. When Maureen Fitzsimons was born on August 17th, 1920, no one expected her to become an international star. Her parents were well known in Dublin. Her father was a successful businessman who also owned a local soccer club, and her mother was a former operatic singer with a reputation for jaw-dropping beauty. From the beginning, Maureen was taught to appreciate music, drama, and competition. She was no dainty princess content to watch life pass her by. But one day, a fortune teller visited the household. She looked at young Maureen and made a prophecy that rattled everyone. "You will leave Ireland one day and become a very famous woman known around the world," she said, "but it will all slip through your fingers." That last line stuck like a curse, creating a sense of foreboding, almost as if the more Maureen achieved, the more she risked losing. Nothing about Maureen's childhood was ordinary. She was strong-willed, outspoken, and something of a tomboy, earning the nickname Baby Elephant for her sturdy frame. While other young girls played with dolls, Maureen was scaling trees, kicking soccer balls, and learning judo. She once admitted she would have bitten any teacher who dared lay a finger on her. Her first taste of performance came when she was only 6, reciting a poem on stage. The thrill never left her, and soon she was training in drama, music, and dance at a local drama school in Dublin. Though she worried about being too tall and masculine for a girl in that era, her confidence and determination were unstoppable forces. Even at a young age, she brushed off criticism about her appearance, foreshadowing her future battles in Hollywood, where high-powered studio executives would do everything to fix her features. Maureen's first film roles in England might not have been huge, but they were enough to catch the eye of influential director Charles Laughton, who cast her in Jamaica Inn, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. She was only a teenager, but that movie marked her breakthrough. Almost overnight, she found herself at the center of industry buzz, especially after signing on to star in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Within a whirlwind of phone calls, train rides, and promotional campaigns, she arrived in Hollywood with starry-eyed ambition. But success came at a cost. Back home, she realized her old friends didn't relate to her sudden fame. Instead of celebration, Maureen faced suspicion, resentment, and loneliness. Seeking comfort, she struck up friendships with men more easily than with women. One of those connections was George H. Brown, a producer who seemed enamored with everything about her. Yet Maureen's feelings were lukewarm. She was preparing to leave for Hollywood so the couple wouldn't see each other for a while. Desperate to keep her close, Brown conjured up what might be the boldest scheme ever. He orchestrated a surprise wedding. Imagine thinking you're just saying a quick goodbye, only to walk into an unannounced ceremony. At 19, Maureen was cornered, embarrassed, and felt she had no polite way to back out. Against her own gut feeling, she went through with the vows. Instantly, her new studio bosses blew a gasket. They wanted their up and coming star to remain single in the public eye, free of any personal entanglements. Soon enough, her husband was left behind in Ireland, while she followed the studio's orders in Hollywood, and the marriage was quietly annulled without them ever living together. It was a jarring lesson in how little control she had over her own personal life. Old Hollywood was notorious for its so-called casting couch, where powerful producers or directors demanded more than just an audition from aspiring actresses. Maureen O'Hara wanted none of it. She wouldn't let a single executive, director, or co-star degrade her. This refusal to cooperate in that sleazy system quickly got her labeled as difficult. Studio heads complained she wasn't friendly enough. Some privately vowed to sabotage her career. One particularly alarming incident involved director John Farrow. Maureen claimed he made explicit suggestions and even stalked her at home. When she flatly rejected him, he tried to humiliate her on set, belittling her every move. Enough was enough. Maureen finally responded the only way she felt would teach him a lesson. She punched him right in the jaw. Back in that era, such a move was unthinkable, especially for a young actress still forging her path. The backlash could have ended her career right then, but Maureen, unyielding as ever, had zero regrets. She refused to apologize or downplay the director's behavior, and whether they loved or hated her for it, everyone in Hollywood learned one thing: Maureen O'Hara would not be trifled with. Naturally, it came with repercussions. She was punished by being assigned to lesser roles under second-rate directors. She vented her frustration to friends and considered returning home to Ireland, but a lifeline appeared: the chance to audition for John Ford's film, How Green Was My Valley. Landing that role not only saved her Hollywood career, it set the stage for a tumultuous working relationship that would profoundly shape her life. John Ford was a legendary filmmaker capable of producing masterpieces, but he was also a complex figure. For reasons Maureen later speculated about, his attitude toward her swerved between affection and cruelty. He'd write her long letters dripping with confessions about how he dreamed of her, then turn around and punch her in the face on a movie set, right in front of stunned cast and crew. Perhaps more disturbing than the punch itself was that no one lifted a finger to stop him or rush to Maureen's side. Fear of crossing a powerful director was too great. She also had her share of run-ins with male co-stars. Some, like Rex Harrison, apparently found her sharp tongue unladylike and her refusal to be submissive infuriating. In his anger, he stooped to childish behavior, like belching in her face during dance scenes, while simultaneously accusing her of all sorts of personal prejudices. Maureen refused to back down, but the constant friction left her physically and emotionally scarred. Around the same time, certain tabloids seized any rumor they could to generate scandalous headlines. Someone claimed Maureen had made flirtatious advances toward another actress in an elevator, which Maureen dismissed as absurd nonsense. Another rumor insinuated that her refusal to sleep with men in power meant she must be interested in women instead. She couldn't walk down a studio hallway without whispers swirling. Her frustration grew, and in the mid-1950s, it all culminated in a legal standoff with Confidential magazine. Confidential published a wild tale suggesting Maureen and her then partner were caught in a steamy situation at a famous Hollywood theater. The timing was verifiably impossible. Maureen proved she was in Spain filming Fire Over Africa when the tabloid insisted she was in Los Angeles. Enraged and determined, she sued Confidential for what amounted to blatant lies. In a groundbreaking victory, Maureen became the first actress to beat a scandal-driven tabloid in court. Her win exposed a seedy underbelly of Hollywood gossip and proved that, despite how unstoppable these magazines seemed, they weren't invincible. It was a watershed moment for all celebrities who felt powerless against salacious stories designed to ruin their reputations. Despite the tough exterior, Maureen O'Hara's personal life was riddled with heartbreak and disappointment. Her first real marriage, after the rushed annulment, was to William Houston Price, a film director. She thought she could finally find stability, but the reality was jarring. Price struggled with heavy drinking, and the relationship deteriorated fast. They had a daughter together, but marital bliss was short-lived. Torn between her Catholic guilt and the miserable reality at home, Maureen felt trapped. Eventually, Price was the one who filed for divorce, citing incompatibility. Not long after, she fell for Enrique Parra, a wealthy Mexican politician and banker. Intrigued by his worldliness, Maureen immersed herself in his culture, even learning Spanish and enrolling her daughter in a Mexican school. But nothing came easy for them. Powerful people in the industry spread rumors, drumming up controversies to sabotage her. Her ex-husband, Price, dragged her into a messy custody battle, accusing her of immoral behavior. And John Ford, the very man who had propelled her career to new heights, made his disdain for her relationship with Para painfully clear. He called her offensive names and belittled her heritage at every opportunity. There were also hush-hush claims that Ford had orchestrated certain tabloid smears, hoping to destroy her reputation and break up her relationship. The tension grew so intense that Maureen eventually ended things with Para, unable to handle the constant interference, heartbreak, and stress. Although her romantic life seemed perpetually under siege, she found real happiness later with Charles F. Blair Jr., a pioneering aviator and former Air Force brigadier general. They married in 1968, and for a brief moment, it looked as if Maureen had finally found peace. But tragedy struck in 1978 when Blair died in a plane crash caused by engine failure. She was shattered. Then, in an unexpected twist, she became CEO and president of Blair's Airline, making her the first woman to hold such a position in the United States. Even in heartbreak, her resilience propelled her to new, uncharted heights. As Maureen ventured beyond her cinematic success, she navigated a series of health struggles that might have sidelined a less determined individual. First came a devastating diagnosis of uterine cancer, followed by surgery to remove her uterus. Then, in relentless succession, she suffered a series of 6 heart attacks that forced her to undergo angioplasty. At every step, she showed the same grit she'd demonstrated on film sets, refusing to be defeated by pain or fear. But the final chapters of her life brought even more unexpected drama. By 2012, Maureen was living in Ireland when concerns about elder mistreatment emerged. Her family, worried for her safety and well-being, alerted social workers. She was experiencing short-term memory loss, which left her vulnerable. Hoping for a fresh start, Maureen moved back to the United States to live with her grandson in Idaho, far from the demands of Hollywood and the haunting memories of the city that had once revered and reviled her. Even as her health waned, her legend endured. Friends and longtime fans championed her as the original tough-as-nails actress who took Hollywood by storm. They recalled the woman who did her own stunts and nearly got strangled for real, filming The Hunchback of Notre Dame, who refused nose jobs and tooth fixes, and who wouldn't let any director or producer cross a line without fighting back. She might have carried physical and emotional scars, but her stature never wavered. Eventually, on October 24th, 2015, Maureen passed away in her sleep at the age of 95. She was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery beside her beloved Charles Blair. Although her final days were touched by sorrow, her astonishing life continued to captivate film aficionados and scholars alike. Maureen O'Hara's story is equal parts Hollywood triumph and cautionary tale. At a time when actresses were treated as disposable commodities, she proved that one woman's determination could shake the entertainment world to its core. She wasn't afraid to stand up to directors who overstepped boundaries, co stars who disrespected her, or tabloids that spread malicious lies, regardless of the professional risks. Over time, she fought tooth and nail to keep control of her image, her dignity, and her career. This fearless stance wasn't just a matter of personal pride, it changed the industry's power dynamics, laying the groundwork for future generations of performers. Today's stars might sue gossip sites or speak openly about injustice, but Maureen O'Hara blazed that trail decades earlier, risking her entire career. She became living proof that you didn't have to cave to powerful men or sleazy rumors to make your mark. In the end, she won not only a court case against a notorious tabloid, but also the respect of a legion of fans who admired her honesty and unwillingness to bend. Her life reminds us just how brutal the system can be and how vital it is to speak out. Despite personal tragedies and health crises, her unwavering spirit never dimmed. That prophecy from her childhood about rising to fame and risking it all might have loomed overhead, but Maureen refused to lose her identity to anyone's agenda. For those who look back fondly on the golden age of Hollywood, her memory stands as a complex reminder. Behind the glamorous veneer, real human battles were fought every day. Maureen O'Hara's story remains a testament to resilience, integrity, and the power of one unbreakable woman in a world that tried and failed to break her. If anything, she taught us that no matter how grand the illusion, truth and tenacity can outlast even the most formidable machine. And that might just be the most riveting Hollywood ending of them all.